and an honor to be able to read with Alexandra T., who was the best poetry teacher I ever had, and was so generous with her time and comments, and had a huge hand in helping me with most of the poems that I'll be reading tonight. So thank you so much, Alexandra, for inviting me. This really is a pleasure. Although I went to grad school in Arkansas, I'm from Southern California, from Los Angeles originally, born and raised. And so a lot of these poems take place there. So this first one is actually set in Palm Springs. The last beach ball in Palm Springs. He's not your uncle, but a parody of your uncle. Tuba-cheeked, a little cross-eyed, while blowing them all up. It's funny how the long-forgotten particulars fill in. The sun, a scouring pad on the galvanized sky. The hailed return from the dollar store. Your granddad, tall, heroic, in that shirt he always wears. His clothesline lassoed tight between cartoonish desert palms. A makeshift net for water volleyball. The dogs too tired to chase the slippery out of bounds. Your inevitable red-eyed cousin whimpering from chlorine. The day's foreclosure of another perfect afternoon. And you, all hand-me-down and daydream, all set to be the lonely, disembodied heartbeat, just you in the last unpopped but slowly deflating ball, wobbling between your rib cage and hips. Look how unaware you are of the compromise you've made to keep afloat. As soon as it gets too easy, as soon as you're distracted, it springs up, and forward too. And then everything you are becomes what chases it, what submerges it again. Humpback whales. I am never the one to see things first. Gulls blur the skyline, a tangled hole until one dives, a wishbone tossed on a porcelain plate, and then you point, another breach. Things I want to tell you surface like this, how loneliness starts as a speck in the distance. I watch them leave the quiet way they came. This next poem appeared in Best New Poets 2010, and I guess the title explains everything I would have to say as a preemptive. This is what the poem's about, so, all right. Helping my father write his father's eulogy. Oh, one quick thing I'll say. My father's originally from Naples, Italy, and all of his family are immigrants, so that's just a little bit of backstory. Instead of uneducated, write immigrant. Instead of mason, artist with brick and stone. If you say worked hard, always food on the table, you won't need to say poor. He'd want the psalm read first to get it out of the way. And with the time he drove to that mansion, the fence white as a rich man's teeth, just to show you the tiled rooftop, blue as 1,000 passports cut from the sky. And this last one's also about my father and grandfather, and it's about the house that they built that I grew up in, remodeling. It was like walking into a church, how struck with purpose my father and grandfather were as they worked silently together, their language of pointing and nods. My brother and I knew not to ask questions when we brought them lunch on plastic trays, tuna salad sandwiches swaddled in napkins, the pitcher of lemonade that left moist, evaporating halos on the brick wall. They'd work till the sky forgot the sun, our new red door, the only in the neighborhood, pulsing beneath the streetlights glow. We'd lose that first house. They'd add it on beyond our means. What mattered was they let us carve our names into wet cement. And for 2 perfect months, the marble sink stood mounted and shimmering in the middle of a wall-less, roofless room. A woman kneeling in the moonlight. What did she see that kept her frozen there? We never thought it was anything but permanent and good. Thank you so much.